This is Jordan's Cocktail Hour, and I'm your host, Jordan Sol. This is a show for, about, and by LGBT asylum seekers and refugees in the Netherlands, made by COC Limburg. COC is our national LGBT rights organization, and Cocktail is the name of our project for this very special group of newcomers, who I like to refer to as family. However, anyone else who wants to join us is welcome. So, family, welcome to our show. We're back in Maastricht, but still with a corona-proof rule of 3. Thank you, Mika, for doing it all, and my co-host, my amiga, Scott. Our theme today is mental and sexual health, and our special guests are Marvin from SOA AIDS Nederland, and from the group, Jamal shares a very personal story. And as usual, Sandro Cortecas with his 5-minute update from LGBT asylum support. Let's do this!
Okay, we are back in Maastricht, and we are super excited to come back with you guys and do another show. We had a lot of stuff that went wrong the last few times. We couldn't record here for a while. Then we tried to record in Eindhoven. We got stopped by the police when we went in, and the last 2 episodes were a little stressful, let's just say.
Yeah, it has been a challenge, right?
So, but now we are back here, and we're happy and excited to bring you another episode, and now we can really relax about it. And yeah,
it's nice also for us to do it a little bit more chill, like with not so much pressure and stuff. Like it's more like easy with the flow.
Yeah, and we're facing you and looking better than we did the last time.
With a little more technical help.
Yes, we're really grateful for our technical help.
Yes.
Okay, we have a few things to cover. I wanted to just get back to, we talked about the police stopping us. That was already something. The thing we talked about on an earlier episode about the COA doing the meldplicht, which is your stamping. But then for the people who are living off campus, I received a response back from the COA that I found really useless, let's just say, because I thought the explanation they gave as to why they believe that in the middle of a crisis, a pandemic, a lockdown, they should force people to travel from cities far away to come to the AZC once a week to stamp for 5 minutes and then go back and do the same thing. They didn't give me a really good explanation, I found. What I will do is I will post the explanation in our WhatsApp group. It's in Dutch, but you will have to all translate it. And you guys can let us know what you think about COA's explanation as to why they think that, we should force the people to come.
Yeah, I'm sure they would just say, as always, like they are just doing their work, which we already say we understand that, but we are also in a pandemic. And it's not about, like, all of the companies and any kind of people that's working is doing their best to work in this pandemic. So they could also help in that way, I think.
Well, it's funny to me that they can still put people out of the AZC and put them on the street as well, which is also a big problem. But yeah, let's keep on the story with the COA, because I feel like if we continue with the lockdown and the way that things are going, that really it's unacceptable to ask the people to travel so far to come once a week there. But let's see how that goes.
Yeah, let's hope they will hear that.
Yeah, so maybe not. We also had a little bit of criticism about maybe Sandro. Some people, they feel really good about Sandro. Some people don't like Sandro's ways sometimes of doing things. But I feel like together in a week, we sometimes help 10 people. And I think that there is absolutely no one that works this hard in this country to help this group of people. And I think if anybody can point me to someone who is, let me know.
It doesn't exist. Plus, as we've been trying to say, is like this is like not about somebody or somebody's egos or somebody if you like or not take it personal. I think this is like a work for everyone. Like it's not about one person. So it's many people that gets help from Jordan, from Sandro, from another kind of organization. So I think it's not about personal opinions.
No, it's not. And I wish that everybody could let go of those kinds of ideas, because first of all, none of us can help every single person. We all try to help as many people as we can. And it's not about the personality. It's about what can you do?
Absolutely.
And
I
real
think
change.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of people, no? Like, of course, not everyone will have the help that they want, but I'm sure there's many of them that get it. And if nobody else do it, like, then what?
Well, I think that Sandro also doesn't just help single people. He creates change for the whole group. He does that politically or through, COA or whatever. It's not just like helping a single person. It's quite often something that changes things for the whole group. But we're going to have an update from him again later, as usual.
Yeah.
But today, really, part of our theme is sexual and mental health for this episode.
Which is very important for us.
Yeah, on many levels.
Yeah.
So the first person that I wanted to interview, and I wanted to interview him for a long time, is Marvin from SOA AIDS Nederland. A lot of people in our group might know Marvin from the Sexy Side of the Netherlands event that used to take place in Amsterdam. It was a bit similar to our event. We worked together a lot, but the event was based in a club and was really, the purpose was to do as much STD testing, education as possible. So they tested for all kinds of STDs. We did hepatitis B, vaccinations, etc. So it was a really good event, and we were just actually in talks to try to combine our events when Corona happened. So
it has actually the same concept as our party.
Well, yes and no, except this one was really just focused on the testing part.
Oh, okay.
But in many ways so similar So I wanted to interview him and bring him on the show to so that he could explain to us what it is that SOA AIDS Nederland does and what we're planning to do afterwards and what we're doing during Corona.
Yeah. So let's check it out.
Yes. Okay, for our next person on our show, we would like to introduce Marvin from SOA AIDS Nederland. We've worked with him before on various different projects and things. He's one of my favorite people to work with.
That's good.
So, hi, how are you doing?
Hi. Very well. Thanks for the compliment. Yeah, really excited to be here. Thank you for including me. I think because of my area of expertise concerning sexual health, it brings a new light to a specific team, which can be really relevant for the group. So yes. Thank you again. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, that's a very important subject for this group, actually.
Sexual health. For sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Sure.
What I like about when we work together or whatever is that usually we tend to have the same kind of idea about where things should go or what's important or not. And it's really hard to find that with working with so many organizations, sometimes really complicated. So it's always super refreshing to find somebody that's kind of on the same page. So that said, I think most people would know you or what you do from the Sexy Side of the Netherlands. I don't know if that's where you want to start or if you want to just talk about what does SOA AIDS Nederland. I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, well, first let me start by talking a little bit about SOA AIDS Nederland, because the Sexy Side of the Netherlands is just one of the projects that we do for newcomers. What we are actually trying to reach as an organization for this target audience as well, for the newcomers, is that we really try to open up the conversation about sexual health, because we know that there is a lot of stigma surrounding sexual health, STDs, HIV, and so forth. And that's one of the reasons why I'm sitting here as well, because we, like I said, different projects simply to open up the conversation. But we also think it's really important to provide everyone for the relevant information that they're entitled to, simply because knowledge is power. And if you know what your rights are, if you know what is available for you, then every decision that you make will not only benefit you and your health, but also help the health of other people. I first wanted to start by saying that. And when we talk about the Sexy Side of the Netherlands, that's, like I said, one of the projects that we do for, let's say, MSM and transgender newcomers. MSM stands for men who have sex with men. The reason why we use that term is because not every man who has sex with other men identifies as gay or bisexual. And we really think it's important to include everyone. That being said, the event, The Sexy Side of the Netherlands, is open for a broader LGBTI public. Only reason why we're making this distinction has to do with the fact that we're bound by certain rules set by the government, which means when we provide people with free STD testing or hepatitis B vaccinations, they have to be part of the MSM group, the trans group, maybe be a sex worker or something like that. And other than that, it's all up to the GGD or the municipal health service to see if people are allowed to get the free vaccinations or the free testing. But that's a specific distinction that we make.
Yeah, because it's important for people to know that they can get those things for free here.
Exactly.
Without too much trouble.
Yeah, and how do we reach you to get those tests for free?
Well, actually, every GGD actually does this work. So you can go actually to every GGD in the Netherlands if they have like an STD hour where you can get tested. If you're an MSM, transgender, or sex worker, you will be able to get free STD testing. And the same goes for hepatitis B vaccinations. And that's why I'm saying, well, you don't have to find me personally, because the reason why we can do it on during the Sexy Side of the Netherlands is because we work together with the GGD Amsterdam in that specific case. In 2019, we actually did also a pilot version in Maastricht. And then we worked with the local GGD in Maastricht to provide the same services.
I think it's important to know that every GGD is kind of also a little bit its own island, because each city has its own GGD, but also they have probably their own budget, which is not always the same everywhere, so that not everything can be offered in every city. But I believe most major cities have the STD testing for free for our LGBT group.
Yeah, like I said, guidelines are that every GGD has to have that. The only reason why for certain events that some GGDs choose only to do the hepatitis B vaccinations has to do with financing and because it's an outreach program that they're doing at the moment. But when you go to their location, that shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, great. I continue to talk about what it is that you guys do. That's great.
Well, like I said, knowledge is power, and we also try to break stigma. And that's the reason why we try to work together with the newcomer group as often as we can. And we develop different materials to provide extra information. One of the most recent projects that we finished were actually new information videos. They were about hepatitis A, B, C, STD testing, and a couple of other subjects as well. We created them not only in Dutch and English, but also in in Arabic, Russian, and in Spanish. And to make sure that all the newcomers were able to, who live at the AZC, were able to actually see the videos. We were able to get them placed on mycoa.nl, which means that every MSM who lives at the COA, when they go to mycoa.nl, they can find the specific videos in the different languages.
Oh, that's great. But if somebody's interested to see it now, where could they find them?
Well, right now on Man tot Man, which is a website specifically for MSM, we have the videos available in English and in Dutch. But I'm actually planning to create the links to the other languages as well in the oncoming week, because right now they're on a Vimeo connection, and I already sent them to all the MSM contact persons of the GGD, but man-tot-man.nl will provide them soon as well.
Okay. That's great, because many people that comes to here sometimes doesn't speak English, doesn't speak Netherlands, but I guess in Arabic and Spanish and other language is very, very useful.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that we were able to create these videos with newcomers as well. One of your volunteers that you had, Sadiqa, he actually was able to check all the Arabic text as well, because we have the video spoken, but we also have subtitles to make sure that the way we provide the information can be as clear as possible.
That's great. We think that's a really good idea. We'll also be sure to share the links or information on our show so that people can go right there and check them
Yes.
out.
So yeah, that's like a couple of examples what we do for the newcomer community. Other than that, like Jordan and I talked about before, I think we both agree that it's really important for every organization to find ways to work together with other organizations as well. Because one of the restrictions that I have in my work is that everything I do for the newcomers has to be linked to sexual health. But on the other hand, we also know that talking about sexual health when you're still processing, for example, trauma, or still getting your roots here in the Netherlands, can be challenging enough. And that's why I think it's really important that we work in an intersectional way, so we know that sexual health is one of the things which that is really important for you, but we also realize that there is a lot more going on in your life than just sexual health.
Yes, that's very important because when you land here in this country, the sexuality here is very open as well.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to catch up with what you think is sexuality and what the sexuality is in here. So that kind of information is very important for us.
Yeah, and the only reason to the only way for us to reach what we want to reach is that you create a connection. And I think a lot of mainstream organizations forget that you can't reach everyone with a top-down approach. You have to work together, you have to be inspired, you have to be creative, and please don't be set in your ways. Please don't have the mentality, well, we've tried that in the past and that didn't work, so we're never going to do it again, because people change. The people who are part of organizations change. So even if you had problems working together in the past with a certain organization, that doesn't mean that it has to be the same way in the future as well. And I really think that one of the reasons that Jordan and I connect so well is that we both see the importance of working together, and we see the group as people and not just as a statistic. And that's really important.
Yeah. But you're also really fun and really nice, so that helps.
Thank you.
These organizations that we all work with all the time for the same group don't all work together really well. We don't, we don't all connect. We don't all understand each other, and
plus it's not about only the organization. It's about to bring some help to people who need it. So it's more about the people,
exactly.
Not about egos of organizations, let's say.
Yes,
exactly. Yes.
It's kind of sad because right before Corona was starting, we already had talked about some really good plans and how to connect what we both are doing and put it more together and organize it better, plan it better. So it's kind of sad that we got super interrupted with that process.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it really is. It challenges us in a way to be creative. I mean, what you're doing with the podcast right now, it's really, really impressive. And I think because of the outreach work that we're usually used to doing and we're not being able to do it right now, this is a way for my organization as well to talk to everyone and say, we are here, we are trying to help. If you have any ideas, please come to me and we can see what we can create. And all the plans that we had last year, we're most definitely going to continue them after the whole Corona madness settles down a bit.
Yeah, at least the ideas that we had, we can continue them later. It's not like they were forever canceled.
Yeah.
No, and so and our podcast is also a work in progress. We're learning every time we do an episode. We learn new things. The people that come on learn new things. So I think it has a lot of potential even after Corona is over, because our party was a big success, but it's limited in what we can actually bring across to people at a party. And with this podcast, we can really talk and be entertaining at the same time, but we can bring across whatever important things that we have to share.
Yeah, we all learn something new.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, That's very true.
Marvin, how do you
Yeah.
manage? You work with the pandemic.
Yeah, it's quite difficult, especially last year, because every year we have to write our plans for what we are trying, what we want to reach during that year. And a lot of projects just stood still. For example, the sexy side of the Netherlands. There is another project that I coordinate, which hands out free HIV home tests to people to spread around to their friends. So it's like a peer-to-peer project that came to a standstill as well. And right now we're in a situation that we have to be positive and think about, okay, what are we going to do when the corona dust has settled a bit? But also we have to keep in mind that a lot of things that we're doing right now, maybe if the pandemic continues, that we have to find another way of doing it. That's not only too bad, it's actually quite frustrating and painful as well, because I know for newcomers, what is happening right now, the lack of social interaction, the lack of safe spaces there where they can go to, yeah, it's not good.
No, even the refugee centers themselves are not feeling like safe places at all.
Exactly.
So, and we used to at least be able to offer temporary free, good spaces to be in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
we can't do any of that. But we just have to stay positive. And at
that's
least,
true.
I feel like there are some good things that come out of it. Like, this idea came only because we had to come up with something new, and we just have to.
And it's something positive in the middle of this situation. So
That's really true. Yeah, and the whole thing of being creative right now, all of the things that we're exploring, like creating a podcast, like creating new information material, those are things that can continue after the pandemic as well. So at the end of the road, we'll just have more to offer, and then I hope it reaches everyone who needs to be reached.
That's the point. I think we're doing pretty good. I think we'll do pretty
Yeah.
good. So, is there anything else that you really wanted to share with us?
One of the things I think it's really important for everyone to know, if you're able to read in English, for example, and you are a man who has sex with men, please go to man.man.nl. It's a website which provides a lot of information about STDs, also about how you can enjoy yourself. It gives corona and sex advices as well. And other than that, which I think it's really important for people who still live at the centers, they move around a lot. And we have a finding system on our website as well. If you fill out your zip code, it will connect you to the municipal health service or the GGD, which is closest to you. So even if you go to a new area and you need to finish, for example, your hepatitis B vaccinations, there is an easy way for you to find it, and that is through our website. So I really think it's very important to share that. And I think we were going to have a little talk about PrEP as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like PrEP is the HIV prevention pill, which has been in the Netherlands for a couple of years now. And there was a pilot program created by the government for a couple of years to provide PrEP for a very limited price compared to what it usually costs. And one of the things that we received a couple of weeks, I guess, from the government was the notification that that pilot program will continue for another couple of years, which is really great.
That's great. And because I have to say, though, that for our group, there's quite a lot of confusion about it because, of course, most people that are an asylum seeker or a refugee have a different type of health insurance. Of course, they have a different access to a regular GP because it's a doctor that's in the center. And we have a lot of miscommunication there, that like even regular Dutch GPs sometimes don't understand exactly everything yet about PrEP. So you can imagine
that's true.
In one of the centers, it's worse, and I get a lot of questions.
Yeah, a lot. Actually, we have a lot of questions about it because, first of all, we don't know what PrEP is, just to begin, and second of all, where can we go to ask PrEP? just in the GGD, or what is the option for us that we don't have a regular insurance in the Netherlands?
Yeah. Okay. Starting with your first question, what is PrEP? PrEP, like I said, is an HIV prevention pill, which means that if you take it and you abide by the schedule, you will not be able to contract HIV, which is really, really important because it's a way to protect yourself. We know that condom use in the Netherlands as a whole is diminishing a lot. So yeah. Yeah, so PrEP is a really good way to prevent yourself from getting HIV. One of the things that is really important to know is that PrEP only protects you against the HIV infection. So that doesn't mean that you're protected from all the other STDs, only HIV. So I think that's really important to share. We also have information videos about PrEP on Month op Man, for example. So if you have the need for more specific information about the schedules as well, because you can take it intermittently or daily, which just depends on what you prefer, please go to the website. And now your second question, if you still don't have your status, the most easy way for you to get PrEP is go to the GGD, because the pilot project that I was talking about provides spaces for people who are considered high-risk groups. And if you are a newcomer, if you are MSM and not able to afford it by the regular way, you can register for that PrEP pilot. One of the things that I do have to say is that this project is really, really popular. So chances are that you will be put on a waiting list. And during this pandemic, one of the things that happened was that all the GGD had to focus on COVID so much that this specific project was put on a temporary hold. It started again, but I know from a couple of regions that they first had to go to all the new registrations that were on the waiting list before they could admit new people for this project. But there is also another way for people who have their status, because if you have your status, then you probably have your own GP as well. And GP stands for general practitioner for the people who don't know. And every general practitioner should be able to prescribe PrEP as well. That can mean that maybe you have to pay a little bit more, but it also means that you don't have to worry about a waiting list. So please, I really encourage everybody, do what's good for you. And if you're like, well, I'm in a rush, I have my own GP, please talk to your GP about it, because there are two options, or you just keep on waiting, or you do a quicker way. Yeah.
Marvin,
Yeah.
What will be the price if we get it from the GGD? Is that a high price, or is just
no? If you do it via the GGD, it will be approximately €7.50 for I think it's 30 pills or something like that. So that's like a reduced price, plus a couple of things that you have to take into consideration as well. If you are part of this project, then you have to get your STD testing on a regular basis 4 times a year, and that will all be free. So yeah, I can imagine that the GGG is the preferred way, but sometimes the preferred way isn't the quickest way. And we as an organization, we are really happy that the pilot project is being continued, but we also see a problem with the waiting lists. We are lobbying for more available places.
We're also going to make sure to invite the PrEP new people to also come on, talk about what they do, and questions, because there's probably, we could devote like a whole hour just to the story, and we're kind of finished with our time.
Wow,
but,
that was quick.
Yeah, it goes
Yeah.
fast, right? And also the KKD will also invite them, either Eindhoven or Amsterdam, somebody from there to explain what they do, also in regard to the hepatitis B shots, which we also used to do at our events,
Mhm.
and explain all those things.
Yeah, that's great. Please, for everybody who's watching right now, don't be discouraged because, like I was talking about the waiting lists, but keep in mind that some GGDs have a shorter waiting list than others. But make sure if you're part of the people who are eligible to be part of this pilot project, start a conversation. That's so important. Don't be afraid to open up about it. Don't be afraid that you will be judged in what kind of way, because one of the things that's so important is to break stigma about STDs, about being LGBT, about PrEP. Asking about PrEP, getting your vaccinations, getting tested is just part of taking care of yourself. So please do that. Take care
Yeah.
of yourself.
I think we've come a long way since when I started, and I think also most people in the group trust me enough that if there's an issue that they can contact me and I can refer them to wherever they need to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really good advice. It's always good advice, you know?
Yes. Thank you so much for the information, because for this group it's just necessary.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay,
Very
we're going to
well.
close this interview for now, because otherwise we will take up the whole entire show with it, which actually could be an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really want to thank you, and thank you for always, your input and what you do is really important. And we're going to bring those other organizations in as well, and we stay in touch, and maybe we can
Awesome.
bring you back towards the end of our first 10 episodes and check in with you again and see what's new and exciting and what you're doing.
Awesome. And thank you so much for including me.
No,
Okay.
always.
Bye.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was Marvin, and it was a really nice chat.
Yeah, we talked to him for a really long time because I think there's so much that we can talk about with him, because there's so many broad issues that he actually works on.
Yeah.
I think what's most important that comes out of it is that the importance of getting tested, and that that tests are available all over the country through the GGD. So our group is able to get tested whenever they want, but they need to really educate themselves on where is the closest GGD to the AZC that they live in.
Yeah, it's really important for us because I know we come from everywhere in the world, from places where really it's like we don't know about STDs, we don't know about what is PrEP, we don't know about HIV, we have no information, and we just show up here and we start to have like a sexual active life where it's totally different, everything. So it's okay to have like, because so many people is ashamed of it, when we got here we're like, oh my god, STD, no way. But it's important to say like, it's okay, like,
well, there shouldn't be any shame around it or judgment.
It's not any judgment in here.
It's better to know that you have something than to not know, or to walk around the whole time thinking maybe you have something and to be unclear about it. That can also be really stressful. And, we really want everybody to know what's going on with their bodies and to be aware of that, know. So I think that what he's doing is amazing.
And that was a lot of information about it. So I'm sure it's going to be really helpful for our group.
I hope so. And I think everybody also knows that if there's any issue and you have any questions about these kinds of things, that you can always send me a message and I'll try to help you out as much as I can.
Yeah. With those kind of questions that we don't want to make anyone, for sure we will contact you.
Yeah, I get a lot of them. So I think that sexual health is really important and something we will definitely talk about again. But mental health is also just as important, maybe more important. I had some things happen in recent weeks that were, to me, really, disturbing or shocking. And I was talking to our group member Jamal about it, and I had some interesting questions in that conversation, and he had some interesting answers. So I asked him if he would be interested actually in talking to us on the show about some of these things, because he was really open about it. And so he did that, and I'm really grateful for that. I want to share that interview with you all now.
For this interview today, I would like to introduce one of our group members, Jamal. I don't know. I asked him today to come on to just talk about his journey and how he got here and what is his experience has been like. So welcome, Jamal.
Thank you, Jordan, and thanks for having me.
Yes, it's a pleasure. And you know what I love the most about making this podcast is that we all get to see each other again. You know, like to
Yeah, suffice it.
it's been really strange to, you know, it's been a year since we did our last event,
Hmm.
and this group is really close, and we all don't really get to see each other as much as
Yeah.
we like. So anyway, welcome. I'm glad you're here. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you want to share about your story, where you're from, and you know how you got to the Netherlands.
Well, I'm originally from South America, Guyana. Uh, that's British Guyana to be precise, because there's French and then there's British Guyana. So I'm from British Guyana. Initially, I moved here with my now ex partner, um, and yeah, that didn't work out. So we're not together anymore. However, when that did not work out, I had to make a decision as to whether I wanted to, go back home or stay here. I knew immediately that, me opting to go back home, if that's what I had chosen, would mean, you know, uh, going back to just living a life, if you want to call it that, because as you know, it's not really normal to live out, your gay truth in that part of the world, in Guyana. So I had to make a decision and I chose to stay here. Hence, I got into the system. Um, and the journey, to be precise, it has its ups and downs. It's been rough, it's been soft, it's been good, it's been bad, but it's been a journey, and I enjoy it, to be honest. To some extent, I learn from it. I get new experiences, I meet new friends that I'll have for a very long time, forever. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I think you, from what I remember, you landed pretty well. You know,
I,
compared to some other people.
I
You
did.
and it always makes me really happy to see that people can find their own way here, because you know it can be really overwhelming when you get here. And
And I can. And to be honest, when I separated from my ex-partner, I really didn't know how I was going to do it, because I did know people here, obviously, but we didn't have that close relationship. And I knew immediately that I didn't come here to depend on anyone. I came here to build my own life and, live my life the way I wanted it to. And so I did not want to put that on to someone else, especially, a friend or friends. So I really had to figure out and find my own way, and find my way I did indeed. It did take some time, it did take some doing, but I got around to it, and I'm still getting around to it. I obviously am in a new relationship. Well, not so new. That's going on almost 2 years, but it's been great, and I'm very happy and thankful for my partner that I have now.
yes, I think you guys are great together, and it's always so good to see your updates on Facebook. And of course, now we are like in a really weird time because of everything with Corona. And
Yeah,
so it feels like everybody's sort of been standing still for almost a year now to not be able to move forward.
yeah,
Um,
stressful.
what like when you first came here, like I'm trying to ask most people, what advice can you give to the people that are maybe from your part of the world, or it could apply to anybody that's coming here, that you learned when you first got here that you wish somebody would have told you?
Just to have a plan, I mean, I did have a plan, but I did not have a backup plan. So just to have a backup plan. Everything didn't work out the way I initially thought it would. So I needed to have a backup plan, and I did not. I had to figure that out as I went along, or as I came along. So, my advice would just be to have a backup plan and, just stay focused, don't get derailed or carried away.
Yeah,
have
that's
a backup
definitely
plan.
really important because I think when people get here, they are really super unfocused most of the time because they've been through chaotic moments and traumas and terrible ordeals. That it takes a little time before everybody can start to settle down and adjust. And when you go to the refugee centers,
Yeah,
those are not exactly like vacation places to chill. It's really
exactly.
a little,
Exactly. It can be very overwhelming. I know for me, the first camp that I was in, I was staying in a room with seven or five other guys. And it was very scary and overwhelming only because I did not know, the sexual preferences of those guys. They all looked really straight and rough and and very fight like. And I thought, okay, I'm not gonna make it here, being a gay man with my soft self, here amongst these guys. But it also goes to the saying not to judge a book by its cover, because all those guys turned out to be really, really good, friendly, loving, supporting guys. And that entire first week when I first got into the system was particularly really, really difficult for me. And to some extent, those guys got me through it. They became really, close friends of mine. They're all of them weren't gay. A few of them amongst us were straight. Um, but we really, build a bond. Like they would invite me out to eat, and they would invite me out to go and take a walk because I'm the kind of guy that would want to stay in, especially because I didn't know anyone. I didn't know the area. But they were really encouraging and really loving and supporting, even though, they knew of my sexuality, that I'm gay, and I'm living my truth. And to this day, some of them and I aren't in contact anymore, but I do have contact with two of them who I'm really good friends with. Actually, I'm helping one of them out now. And it's just been good. It just really, the support, if you have it, is really good.
yeah, I think in the beginning when you get here, things can seem really overwhelming and strange. And,
Yeah,
I
that
see,
first week.
yes, horrible. It's got to be horrible. But I see people go through it, and I also see all the stages, and I see them eventually catch on and,
Yeah.
create their own way. Um,
Hmm.
we're talking earlier, and I wasn't sure how to bring it up, but like we talked about that not everybody finds their way so easily. Most of you do.
Yeah.
There are some people who don't, and I find it. Yeah, I wish there was more that I could do about it, because I feel like I'm guiding a lot of you people and like trying to help you to find your way. But I think that there are some people
Yeah.
that are just innately not able to do it.
Yeah. Jordan, you've done a great deal. You've done a great amount. And I do tell you, I think I've told you this a few times. I really do appreciate what you do for us and, the representation and the support and all of that. But it also has to do with yourself and, what you want to achieve. Because the fact is, no matter how much support you get, whether it's direct or indirect, if you don't have a plan to stay focused and really have a plan on what you want to do and achieve, then there will always be something derailing you. There are distractions. It's just a matter of not picking up on those distractions and just really staying focused and going for what you want and what you came here for. it's, I've had a great deal of support from my partner. He's been hugely supportive, but I also have friends and a small group of people that I'm really close to. And then there's the other group of people that I just hang out with or talk to, and there are distractions. Some people can be distractions. I, being myself, has to know that I cannot pick up on those distractions. I can't allow myself to get distracted. I have to, stay focused because there are things that I want to achieve. I came here to live a better life, to live my truth, to be open, to live with my partner, and do the things that every gay person wants to do. And once you keep remembering that, then I think there's nothing that can distract you.
Yeah, well, you're like a living example of that. But I see some people are not that strong and they're not necessarily able to continue with it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and so I guess what I would like to say and what I feel like I learned this week is that it's okay to ask for help? Like if you feel like you're struggling and you're
It really,
psychologically, mentally, you're just not, able to do it. Look, most of you've had terrible stories to get here, and the traumas and the things, they follow you around, no matter where you go.
yeah, that's very true.
And
And I'm not a person that likes to ask for help, to be honest. If, I want to do it on my own. I want to go get it. Like, that's my vibe. But it is important to ask for help, especially when you need it the most. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. I think, it shows, your strength as a person, rather as, some people would take it as a weakness. It's not a weakness. And that's something that I've come to learn over time, obviously, because I'm not the kind of person that likes to ask for help. I feel very weird doing it. But that's a lesson I've learned. It's really a lesson I've learned. And I know it's not that easy for everybody. Some people just don't know how to ask for help. Some people don't want to ask for help. But it's really something you really have to get into it, because it is important to ask for help, especially when you really need it.
yeah, absolutely. And the also important part about that is that it's free here. You can get it if you are in the in the
Yeah,
center. It's not like you
yeah,
got to pay for it. It's like they give it to you, and
yeah,
it can be
that's
so useful for people. Just to get that,
yeah,
they cannot
yeah,
figure it out on their own, to get that help from somebody else.
yeah. Like you said, it's free. Not much people know this, but I suffer from mental health. I have, good days and bad days. I suffer from depression. Um, and before I started my medication, before I started taking antidepressants, um, I just didn't know. I thought, what if I just go in and ask and everybody thinks I'm crazy? I don't want people to look at me as a crazy person. I'm not crazy. I just have, my highs and my lows. And sometimes, that can even stem from me, because I'm the kind of person that likes to overthink everything. I'm also, I like to say I'm a perfectionist. I want everything to be perfect. I like to overthink things. That kind of stuff. And sometimes I get anxiety and that kind of stuff. But I got to a point where I needed help and I had to ask for it. And I got it. And it's been great ever since.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for sharing that so openly. Not everybody would want to do that, but I think it sets a great example. Like, because I think that people look at you and figure like, oh, he's got everything perfect and all together and arranged, living, in the big city.
Yeah.
But we all struggle in our own way, and we all have to do what we have to do to fix it. And asking for help, there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. Totally.
So,
Totally.
what are your plans? What are your plans after Corona, after all the IND madness?
I can't wait for all this to be over, especially my process. I can't wait for my process to be over, because, I am very like go hard, go get it kind of person. And yeah, I just want to work and get my stuff together. Like I said, my partner has been a great deal of help. But I'm also not the kind of person that likes to depend on anyone, even my partner. So I can't wait for this entire thing to be over. So yeah, just so I can get myself together, the way I want to. And also there's a lot I want to do in terms of giving back and, helping some of my fellow refugees if I could. So yeah, I can't wait to get this over with. And as for Corona, that's another thing I can't wait to be done with, because it's at that point where everybody has to be home. Now there's a curfew. That's even more anxiety and thinking like, yeah, but I'm learning how to deal with it. It's getting easier. It gets easier.
Yeah, it's a strange world. We live in a really weird world before, but now really super weird.
Yeah.
If you were to look back, do you feel like happy about your choice to have come here?
I have. I really have. More than anything, I'm happy about the fact that I'm able to just be myself, just really genuinely, authentically be myself. And I wouldn't trade the experience or the journey for anything. Like I said, it's been a ride, and it's my journey, and I enjoy it. Even the not so good parts, because I learned from it. So yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
I'm glad. I'm really glad, because you went through a lot of stuff to get here, and
Yeah,
Things are finally starting to shape up a little bit, and
correct. Yeah, very much.
I'm glad that you feel good about it still, after all.
Yeah, I do. I
So,
really do.
anyway, I wanna thank you for being on today, because I think it's really great that you share some personal insights and things about your own life, because I just think it could help somebody who's watching it.
Yeah, and I really hope it does. I really hope it does. And thanks for having me, Jordan. It means a great deal.
Yeah, well, super happy to see you, and
Likewise,
we will stay in touch.
for
And
sure.
let's hope this Corona thing is over soon, and we can have another big party soon.
Yeah, great. Let's do that. Take care, and thanks for having me. It's been a joy.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, thank you so much, Jamal. I really appreciate how he was open and honest about, being really real about what his life is like and what it's been like to be in this country and to deal with things. Not everybody would be so open about it and talk about it like that on.
And I guess here we all know how difficult it is to open ourselves about everything in our personal life, because we come through a lot, and to talk about it is difficult. So I really think it's really brave of him to talk about it and to give us some inspiration to also
again, not to have shame about it, not to
Exactly.
feel like you're being judged or that there's something wrong with you. It's just, I think in fact it's better to ask for the help than to not ask for help and just pretend like everything is okay. And I guide a lot of people through this process, and sometimes it's a process of many years. And I see that some of you do really well, and but I also have a few people that I guided really personally, and that no matter what I tried to do to help, it didn't help. They didn't end well, and so the point of that really being that ask for the help, ask for it in the AZC if you feel that you need it, because if you get it while you're in the AZC, it will continue after you leave the AZC and you get your status.
Yeah.
When you ask for it later, you will be considered just like a regular Dutch person. And for the people in this country, asking for mental help is really difficult because we have really long waiting lists. And so you end up waiting sometimes 6 months or a year or whatever. If it's not necessary to wait, I say, ask for it while you're in the AZC.
Yeah, and it shows us really it's there. We all come here with problems, and sometimes we say oh no, it's all right, and we just put it to the side. And sometimes it's just necessary to face that to really begin a new life, to put that for real a part of you and really begin with a new life. So it's really nice that we can share that kind of histories and see that.
Well, you have an opportunity to start a new life, so do it in the most healthy way possible with as much help as you can get to start that.
Plus, it's for free, right? I mean, you have to wait, but if you can do something about it.
Yes, with insurance that you get, it should be free. It should be available to everybody. And again, I want to thank Jamal for sharing his story and talking about it openly. I'm really, really hoping that inspires people and takes away some of the taboo feeling that is around mental health, because, Jamal is doing great. He's living a really nice life in Rotterdam. We're super proud of him. And want to thank him again for coming out and talking about it.
Yes, thank you so much.
So that brings us to our great friend Sandro, who has a really quick 5-minute update. We are limiting him in his time a little bit. And so let's look and see what he has to tell us this week.
Let's check it out.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. This time I want to discuss with you something about which is called time out. And a timeout place is something from the COA. It's one of the measurements for refugees who are being seen as those who can't be handled by the COA. So it's one of the punishments they can do. And this is a form of punishment since May 2020. And since then, we have 4 cases of LGBT refugees who are in this environment. And it's an environment where you get this measurement, you're going to be taken after a letter from the COA to this place. It's part of another, as it say. There is only a table, a bed, a cupboard, no TV. And this is how they want to influence some people, how they behave in their, as it say. And we are very critical on this because we see every time that the COA is just on the level of what is allowed, yes or no. And what I want to discuss with you this time is about a case of a Russian refugee. At this moment, as I'm doing this interview, he is still in this timeout place in, as it said, Dronten. And the problem is that he is there now for 9 days. It's going to be 14 days in total. And this 9 days, there was no heating. And at that moment, it was freezing -6 degrees. So we made a lot of complaint to the COA, to finally also the members of parliament, but nothing helped. And since last Friday, we asked the police to check. And they checked and they could feel that the heating was just not working. And this is a big problem for the COA because you can ask yourself, what is happening here? Is this a form of correcting behavior, or is it even perhaps torture? Because COA is our government. And when a government is trying to do this by force, because the COA knew this already for 9 days, you can ask yourself, is this allowed? No, of course not. This is not allowed. But it's on the level what they are trying to do. So as a critical organization, we made a letter to the junior minister and to the parliament, hoping that they will react in time. But normally this will take 4 or 5 weeks. But nevertheless, there will be questions in the House of Parliament about the way this kind of measurements are being taken. Meanwhile, follow us about this because it goes very fast on our Facebook page. And if there are any problems with you like this, just connect us. Okay, take care. Until next time.
Okay, Sandro, that was another very interesting update.
Yeah, as usual, he always has something important to say.
What Sandro is doing is not always just for one person. It is something that could help or change things for the group as a whole.
Yes, and it could, like, really, I have never heard of it, like, in the all of the time I have been here, I have never heard about it because sometimes we just don't have a voice.
Yeah, there's so many things about this process that people don't know anything about. I still discover new things like on a weekly basis about the process.
Right? About like the LGTB process sometimes is really weird, right? Like sometimes there are things like, what?
Well, we try to change it when we can, but we are really grateful for Sandro for doing the things that he does to create real and permanent change in a positive way for this group. So that's already the end of our show.
Okay, it was nice to stay here for one more time.
Yes, gezellig.
Gezellig samen.
In Maastricht.
Yeah, so yeah, it was really nice to see everything, how it's becoming better because yeah, this time was way much better. So thank you so much for inviting me over.
You're welcome. We'll see you all next time back here in Maastricht. Hopefully we can keep going for a while before something else happens. And we thank everybody for really watching. We're getting a lot of messages. YouTube views are up, and we really appreciate that. Remember also, if you want to send us a shout out for at the end of the show, and you can win a mask, send it to me personally on WhatsApp, and we'll put it on. So thanks, guys, for watching.
Yeah, thank you a lot. Don't forget to leave us a little like or comment. Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay. Have a great week. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, Jordan. This is Viola. I miss cocktail. Oh my God. I hope this coronavirus is going to stop so that we meet again. with all the members of LGBT and of Limburg. Really, we miss you, Jordan, but we are really happy for the episodes. We are waiting for the other episodes to come. We love you, peace.
Hi family, how is everyone doing? I miss you guys a lot. I just want to use this opportunity to give thanks, to appreciate Jordan for the love and support he has shown us both in good and the bad times. He is a real leader. I must have to appreciate you for that. One love, everyone.
Hi Jordan, hi COC, this is DJ Money Amsterdam 1. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Have a great Valentine's to celebrate. Stay home, stay safe. It's Corona time. Stay home, stay safe. DJ Money says Amsterdam. Let's party, let's go. Okay now. Lockdown.
Hello, we are Dennis and I'm Hans.
I am a volunteer of Cocktail Eindhoven for about 2 years now.
And I'm a volunteer for Cocktail Eindhoven since the beginning of Cocktail. That was about, I think, 2015 or 2016. It's a pity we cannot meet these days, but optimistic as we are, I know we will meet soon again.
We hope to see you all soon and keep strong.
Indeed, keep strong and keep healthy. Bye bye. Love you all. Daddy.
Bye.
Hey family. Good day to everybody. A big shout out to you all. A special shout out to Jordan and Wat and crew. I thought I was left out, but now I know I belong. Thank you for making me belong, making me happy, making me know myself. A big shout out to everybody again. I'm from Joshua from Maastricht Camp. And to all members of the Cocktail family, being Limburg, being Eindhoven, I'm very much happy, very impressed. Really, I'm very much glad with all the promoters of what from first episode, second episode, third episode. Now we are in the most beautiful. Any day we receive an episode, we see ourselves inside the system. So thank you, Jordan. Thank you for making us feel lively and know that we belong. Stay blessed, stay safe. I'm Joshua from Maastricht again. Yeah, thank you. I love you all. Jordan loves you. The Limburg family loves you, and the Netherlands embrace us all. Thank you. I love you.
Thank you all so much for being with us today. We hope you will join us again next time, and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Show us some love in the comments and share our show with your friends. We really want to thank COC Limburg, Mika, my co-host, and Amiga Scott, our guests Marvin and Jamal, and thank you of course to Sandro for his 5-minute update. Do you have questions, ideas, or comments, a shout out, or do you want to be on our next episode with a talent or to tell your story? Please let me know. WhatsApp 06111 20990 or send us an email at cocktail@coclimburg.nl. See you next time, guys.